Welcome back to Chef Sawyer Sunday. I'm Chef Sawyer, aka Saute Sawyer. And today, very special day, very special video, because we have some homegrown mushrooms here. That's right, I bought a kit from North Spore, not a sponsor by the way, and we grew some lion's mane. Lion's mane is a very special type of mushroom. It's kind of rare, you won't see it in your generic supermarkets, but it is delicious. Lion's mane is very special because the texture is nice and meaty, very firm. It has some flavors kind of similar to lobster and scallops, very seafoody, but it's a mushroom. So that's why it's great for making vegetarian dishes. This has been growing for about 2 weeks. Once you buy the kit, all you have to do is mist it once or twice a day and control the humidity, the temperature. Make sure you give it proper conditions to thrive. All right, so I just picked up a mushroom grow kit. We're gonna give it a shot, see how it works out. This is the block of mushroom mycelium. That's what all this white stuff is. It's basically like, this is what it grows from. I'm just gonna score an X in the plastic. We have some openings here now, and it's super simple. All you do is you give it a slight misting a couple times a day. That's it. You just have to control the humidity and the temperature. And in 10 to 12 days, we should have nice, big, beautiful, fresh mushrooms. And I'm gonna cook with them. Day 2 of growing the mushrooms, it started to develop a little white, fuzzy fur on the top, which is supposedly good news. It means that I should be getting some mushrooms popping up soon. I just have been misting it twice a day, and that's it. It is the morning of the 4th day. And initially I was a little worried about this discoloration, but it looks like things are starting to go as planned, because down here in this bottom right corner, I have my first little sprout of a mushroom. These things grow pretty quickly as soon as you have your first little babies. Days 5 and 6, we should see some exciting news incoming. All right, so this is the morning of the 5th day, and you can see my one mushroom I have here in the corner. It's starting to grow up pretty quick. It went from about the size of a penny to a size of a quarter overnight. That's the only one I see, but we should have more sprouting in the next couple days. This bottom one's really starting to come in pretty big, and we have some small collections forming above him that are starting to grow in pretty good. I think in a couple days they're all gonna be massive. This one here looks very beautiful. It's starting to turn a little bit yellowish. That's how I know it's time to take it off. And this is about maximum size that they would get. I'm very happy with my results. To cut it, I'm just gonna right at the base. I'm just gonna saw straight down. You want a nice sharp knife when you're doing this. So here's one, and I'm just gonna continue straight down. Boom, here's the other one. And now the best part about this is I can use it again. After I take these off, we're gonna eat these. They're gonna be delicious. And now I can get a second flush. I can start watering it again and more mushrooms will come. It's definitely worth your value for sure. Hashtag not sponsored. The smell on these is unbelievable. They're very, very firm, and they have a unique texture. You can see right here on the inside, it has grains that run downward. So instead of chopping this, like you might some other vegetable or mushroom, this has natural seams that you can just pull it and it flakes. They look like beautiful little flower petals. And each time I just pull this, and you can see it's stringy like a chicken breast might be, like some good white meat. That as soon as you just grab it and pull a little bit, it comes apart naturally in these little pieces. Now you could cook the whole mushroom if you like. You could braise it, you could grill it, you can do many, many things with it. You can slice it, you can take, I'll even show you. You can take big slices of the mushroom, and they would call this a mushroom steak. And now you can just oil it, salt, pepper, and get it right into a hot pan, sear it. This is gonna be very similar to a vegetarian steak because of its nice meaty texture. But as you can see, it still will just shred nice and easily. I'm just gonna go ahead and take all the mushrooms here, and I'm gonna shred it and flake it into nice, beautiful, bite-sized pieces. And we're about to make a mushroom risotto. So for mushroom risotto, or any risotto for that matter, you're gonna need a few consistent things. Number one, you need some sort of risotto rice. This is arborio, nice and starchy for us, it's perfect. Number two, you're gonna need some stock. We're adding vegetable stock today because I'm making a plant-based risotto. And if I add a chicken stock or a beef stock to it, and then vegetarians can't have it. You just kind of wanna keep it good for everybody. Parmigiano Reggiano. We have a little bit of flavoring components here, like some butter, some onion, olive oil, garlic. And then of course, for our mushroom risotto, we are gonna need mushrooms, and even more mushrooms. This is a variety mushroom blend here with a few different kinds in there. Shiitakes, oysters, and portobellos. And these are gonna be some black truffles, which are very nice quality mushrooms. And of course, you're just gonna need a dry white wine as well. All right, we're gonna take our vegetable stock and you need to put that in a pot and start getting it hot, because when we make risotto, we need our stock to be nice and hot. And then to make a quick mushroom stock, I'm just gonna take our store-bought vegetable stock and I'm gonna go ahead and throw our mushroom variety kit in there, and I'm gonna let that steep for a couple minutes until all the flavors are good. And if you wanted to buy dry mushrooms, that's great as well, if you have access to those. But we're just gonna let this cook down and let it get nice and hot, and then we're going to Flavor Town, baby. For risotto, you're gonna need some onion and some garlic. So this is gonna be a nice flavor for your risotto, and you just need to rough chop. Nothing too precise. Little tiny bite-sized pieces is good. Up on the rooftop, reindeer claws, out jumps good old Santa Claus. Choppity chop. Good enough! You don't need precise measurements, precise cuts, nothing. Just whatever you got already right there, looks good. Good job. Nice hot pan. We're gonna add some olive oil to it, some extra virgin, nothing but. Here's our onion once the oil is hot. We're gonna throw in our garlic. And now you just saute until they're cooked and soft and translucent. Once your onions and your garlic are cooked a little bit, we're gonna add the arborio rice and make sure you give it a nice good stir. You want all of the rice to get toasted in the olive oil. Your arborio, your rice starts to get nice and toasted in the pan. We give that a couple minutes of dry cooking before we add the white wine. After the rice has been toasting in your dry pan for a couple of minutes, now's the right time to add our white wine. And depending on how much risotto you're making will determine how much wine you need. I have a large amount of risotto here. I'm feeding 6 people. So I'm gonna use a good 2 cups of wine. You'd be surprised how much liquid risotto needs. As soon as you think you're almost done, no, you need about 10 more cups of liquid. I just have a Chardonnay. Any dry white wine is good. The very basis of risotto cooking is gonna be adding 1 ladle of stock at a time and constantly stirring, non-stop. You don't stop stirring. So here I have my mushroom stock. The vegetable stock, I just poured some mushrooms in. We're gonna give it just enough liquid right now to start it. Stir, stir, stir. Stir, stir, stir. The rice has absorbed the liquid. Now it's time for more. Oh yeah. More liquid, more stirring. You're gonna get really used to that. More liquid, more stirring. That's all risotto is. You can see our risotto is getting thick again. It absorbed all the liquid. So now it's just time a little bit more. A ladle, ladle and a half. Add it. Put it on a low heat and stir, stir, stir. You're gonna have to continue to stir until the risotto is finished. I will just continue to add little bits of stock at a time and stir until our risotto is cooked all the way. And you can know that because when you take a couple pieces and try them, you don't want them to be crunchy. You want them to be al dente like any other rice or noodle would be. Floxy noxy hilipilification. The risotto's been cooking for about 30 minutes approximately. We've been stirring the whole time. We've been adding ladles of stock the whole time. Mix it up until it's nice and soft, fully cooked like rice should be, and just give it a little taste. You need to make sure that it's called al dente. Nice and soft with a little bit of firmness, but no crunchiness to it. That tastes like it's just about there after 30-35 minutes of stirring. Once your risotto is finished, we're just gonna season it up. A lot of times vegetable stock comes with some salt in there, so just make sure you taste how much salt you need before you go ahead and add any seasoning. So along with salt and pepper, I have some fresh thyme here. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick that and throw it in. Thyme and mushrooms go together so well. Match made in heaven. Once you have sufficient thyme picked, just go ahead and mix that into your nice, creamy, delicious mushroom risotto. And now it's time for the best part of risotto. We are gonna add copious amounts of Parmigiano Reggiano and butter. That is sure to make anything taste better. Risotto is looking a little thick. I know what'll fix that. How about a ladle of veggie stock? Woo-woo! Okay, we're back to that nice creamy consistency. Now let's bring in the cheese. Here we have our Parmigiano Reggiano. And we are just gonna go to town. That's right. However much cheese you think risotto needs, add 3 times that amount, because this is what risotto is. It's gonna be rice, first ingredient. Second ingredient, Parmesan cheese. That looks like a lot of cheese. That ain't nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. Get an action shot. Zoom in on that cheese grind. Go ahead, get in there. Oh yeah. Cheesy. Cheesy. Okay, maybe that might be enough. Now we'll mix it up and taste it and see. Now not only is it super creamy, now it's super cheesy and delicious. Nice hot pan, screaming hot. We'll get a little olive oil in there, and now it's time to go ahead and finish up. So take your homegrown mushrooms and put them in the hot oil. Saute real good, like Saute Sawyer does. Toss them around. Let them get nice and crispy. Gonna hit them with just a wee bit of salt. Hey, look at this nice, beautiful white flesh of the lion's mane mushroom. I recommend anybody who has interest in mushrooms or gardening, go ahead and buy that mushroom kit. Hashtag unsponsored, by the way. It's a lot of fun, you learn a lot, and you will get to experience such a delicious mushroom. A little bit more olive oil for them. Little pieces of mushrooms like this will be finished in about 3 minutes or so. Just cook them until they're entirely done throughout. You want to make sure your mushrooms are fully and thoroughly cooked. And now, it's time to marry it all together and make the most delicious combination of food you've ever had in your life. Right before serving, go ahead, give it a taste. That's good stuff. But it could be better. We just need a little more Parmigiano Reggiano in here. There's never too much of an amount of Parmigiano Reggiano. Throw in 1 or 2 more ladles of stock just to make sure that your risotto is extra creamy. We have a bunch of parsley here, and roll it up tightly like you're rolling an egg roll or a burrito. Just run the knife against your fingers as you tuck them under, and you will achieve chopped parsley. And run your knife a couple more times until you have a rough chop. Take your risotto, throw in your chopped parsley, and mix that up. That's gonna add a nice, bright, vibrant freshness to the dish. That's gonna make it look nicer on a plate. We're gonna throw in 2 tablespoons of butter. This is gonna give the risotto a nice, velvety finish. And then we're gonna take our seared, homegrown lion's mane mushrooms and just mix those in. Nice and chunky, meaty texture. They're really excellent. And you are finished once you get that all thrown together. Our butter's melted, our parsley is evenly distributed, It looks like there's plenty of mushrooms in every bite. Now all that's left is to plate it up. We have our beautiful mushroom risotto with a variety of mushrooms, like here's an oyster mushroom, but we also have our homegrown lion's mane in there. Some nice good Parmesan cheese, vegetable stock, and you're just gonna take a couple big spoonfuls of this because that's gonna be such a delicious dinner. Let's fetch out some of those lion's mane mushrooms that we grew. Put them right on top. Take a paper towel and just clean up the rim. Make sure that there's no spillages anywhere. And we have a nice clean plate. And now all that's left to do is to finish it off with some black truffles. We want plenty of them on the top. We are gourmet, fancy people over here. Look at that. Here's our beautiful, homegrown, homemade mushroom risotto with the black truffles all over the top. You can't beat that. But we're gonna take a bite just to find out. There's our lion's mane right there. Good, that's what I have to say. Oh my gosh. This dish is 5-star fancy, people. It just tastes like something you should be eating in the most glorious dining room you've ever sat in, of the fanciest restaurant, of that one town you've always wanted to go to, but you can't because to be anywhere near it would be like $5 billion. That's what this tastes like. So go ahead and make this one at home. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for coming back week after week to support me. I love you all, and I'm very thankful. Have a great Chef Sawyer Sunday. See you next week. Cut.